Have you ever wondered if some of the greatest medical breakthroughs in history were not celebrated, but buried? What if a cure was so effective, so simple, and so cheap that it threatened to upend the entire medical industry? It sounds like the plot of a movie, but history is filled with stories that are stranger than fiction. These are the tales of inventions that worked a little *2* well, and the brilliant minds behind them who were silenced. Today, we're pulling back the curtain on some of the most controversial and mysterious medical discoveries ever made. We're going to explore radical ideas that promise to change everything, only to vanish under a cloud of suspicion. Were they dangerous hoaxes, or were they legitimate cures that powerful forces didn't want you to know about? Stick with me, because what you're about to hear might just change the way you see modern medicine forever. Our first story begins in the 1930s with a brilliant, self-taught scientist named Royal Raymond Rife. Rife wasn't just any inventor. He was a master of optics who created a microscope unlike any other. They called it the universal microscope, and it was said to be so powerful it could see living viruses, bacteria, and even cancer cells in their natural state, a feat that modern microscopes still struggle with, as they often require killing and staining a specimen. But seeing them was only the beginning. Rife claimed that every microbe, every disease, had its own unique electromagnetic frequency, its own mortal oscillatory rate. He theorized that if you could broadcast that exact frequency back at the microbe, it would shatter, just like a crystal glass shatters when a singer hits the right note. He built a machine, the Rife frequency generator, to do just that. In 1934, an incredible clinical trial was reportedly conducted. A team of doctors from the University of Southern California brought 16 terminally ill cancer patients to Rife's lab. According to the stories, after just 3 months of daily treatments with Rife's frequency machine, 14 of the patients were declared clinically cured. The remaining 2 were also cured after a few more weeks of adjusted treatments, a 100% success rate. It should have been the medical discovery of the century, front-page news around the world, but that's not what happened. Instead of being celebrated, Rife's work came under attack. His supporters and the doctors involved in the trial suddenly distanced themselves. Funding dried up. Then a series of mysterious and catastrophic events unfolded. Key documents from his research were allegedly stolen. His lab, containing his priceless universal microscope and years of evidence, was set on fire and burned to the ground in an act of suspected arson. His company was buried in legal battles. The medical establishment began to systematically discredit him, labeling him a quack and a charlatan. By the end of his life, Royal Rife was a broken man, and his revolutionary technology had all but disappeared from the public record. Was it all a fantastic hoax? Or did he stumble upon a simple, non-invasive cure for cancer that threatened the burgeoning pharmaceutical and surgery industries? The official narrative says he was a fraud, but the unanswered questions and the strange circumstances surrounding his downfall have fueled speculation for decades. Let's fast forward a few decades to the 1960s, and a substance so common it's a byproduct of the paper manufacturing industry. It's called dimethyl sulfoxide, or DMSO. This isn't some obscure compound. It's a simple, cheap solvent derived from wood pulp. Its medical journey began when a chemist at a paper company noticed it had a bizarre property. Anything dissolved in it could be rapidly absorbed directly through the skin and into the bloodstream. Dr. Stanley Jacob of the University of Oregon Health Sciences University became its biggest champion. He discovered that DMSO was a powerful anti-inflammatory and pain reliever. He tested it on animals, finding it could reduce swelling, heal burns, and even show promise in repairing spinal cord injuries. The results were astounding. Soon people started hearing about this miracle solvent. Athletes used it for sprains, and arthritis sufferers reported incredible relief from chronic pain, often within minutes of applying it. The public went wild for DMSO. It was cheap, it was accessible, and by all accounts it worked wonders. It seemed too good to be true, and maybe it was. The Food and Drug Administration, the FDA, began to take a very close look. Despite thousands of glowing testimonials and promising research papers, the FDA became concerned about its safety and potential side effects. one of which was a peculiar garlic-like taste in the mouth after skin application. In 1965, the FDA abruptly halted all clinical trials on humans, citing a study where it caused changes in the lenses of animals' eyes. The clampdown was swift and total. DMSO was branded as unproven and potentially dangerous. Critics, however, pointed to a different motive. At the time, the market for aspirin and other painkillers was a billion-dollar industry. Could a cheap, unpatentable industrial byproduct that relieved pain more effectively than existing drugs be allowed to compete? Supporters of DMSO claimed it was being suppressed not because it was dangerous, but because it was a massive threat to the profitability of the pharmaceutical industry. Why sell a cheap one-time cure when you can sell a lifetime of expensive prescription painkillers? To this day, DMSO is only FDA approved for a single rare bladder condition. Yet, it's still sold in health food stores and online, labeled as a solvent, and an underground community continues to swear by its therapeutic powers. Our final story takes us back to the battlefields of World War I. Amid the mud and the chaos, medics were facing a desperate struggle against infection. Antibiotics hadn't been discovered yet, and a simple wound could easily become a death sentence. But German doctors found a powerful ally in a surprising gas, ozone. By pumping this activated form of oxygen onto wounds, they found it was incredibly effective at killing bacteria and preventing gangrene. After the war, the use of ozone therapy spread. Doctors in Europe discovered it had a wide range of potential applications. They reported success in treating circulatory disorders, viral diseases, and a variety of other conditions. The therapy was based on a simple idea: many diseases thrive in low oxygen environments. By introducing a highly reactive form of oxygen into the body, you could theoretically kill pathogens and stimulate the body's own healing and immune responses. But in the United States, ozone therapy faced a wall of resistance. The American Medical Association and the FDA quickly labeled it as quackery. They declared it had no proven medical use and was dangerous, despite its long history of use in Europe. Proponents were ridiculed, and clinics offering the treatment were often shut down. So why was it banned? The official reason was a lack of controlled, double-blind studies, the gold standard of modern medical research. But critics offer another explanation. Ozone cannot be patented. It's made from oxygen, using a machine. There's no pill to sell, no prescription to fill. It represents a low-cost therapy that puts healing power directly into the hands of the practitioner, bypassing the pharmaceutical model entirely. Interestingly, while it remains unapproved in the US and Canada, ozone therapy is widely practiced in countries like Germany, Spain, Russia, and Cuba. Thousands of doctors use it daily, and it's even covered by insurance in some places. They see it as a valid and effective treatment, while in North America, it's still largely relegated to the shadows, a forgotten relic of a war-torn past. So, what do we make of these stories? Royal Rife and his frequency machine, DMSO and its miraculous pain relief, ozone therapy and its forbidden healing power. Are these just the delusions of fringe scientists and con artists? Or are they glimpses of a different path medicine could have taken? A path where healing wasn't always synonymous with expensive drugs and invasive procedures. The common thread is undeniable. Each of these potential breakthroughs was simple, cheap, and could not be easily patented and controlled by large corporations. In a medical system that often functions as a for-profit industry, could it be that the most dangerous thing a cure can be is not ineffective, but unprofitable? Maybe these treatments weren't buried because they failed. Maybe they were buried because they worked too well. What do you think? Is there a lost cure or a suppressed technology that you've heard of? Which of these stories resonates with you the most? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. I read every single one and I'm fascinated to hear what you have to say. And if you enjoy diving into these medical mysteries with me, make sure to hit that like button and subscribe for more deep dives into the stories they don't want you to know. Thanks for watching, and stay curious.